Hi everyone, CPI just came in. Today is Wednesday, April the 10th. My name is Anne Marie Band, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. Well, we are looking at our traders trying to buy a floor here, and so that is what they're going to battle on. Now, could it be that that floor gets tossed around a little bit? Yes, it could be. So I would wait for the price action to settle out, maybe using a 15-minute price formation, wait for them to stop heading lower. That means you've got to wait for this 15-minute candlestick to close if you're staring that down, and then look for the pullback to establish the risk. My thought is this is a very, very clear bounce zone. We've seen this number literally hundreds of times, and so I would not be surprised to see a bounce event that, takes us all the way up to 52.13 by the end of the day, to be honest. But we shall see what the price action does. I do believe this is a bounce zone. All right, let's go to the NQ. Seeing the same thing, right? If we are looking at a 15-minute range, we can say, hey, listen, it's got to get up over 18,100. First pass is probably going to have sellers trying to step on the necks of some buyers buying the dip, but this is a very key bounce zone. You can see from the dailies. And that motion that we get, look at the wicks. See? Absolutely beautiful price action coming into the low of days past and then just really getting after it. I would not be surprised to see the sellers turn right around and start running for cover like they had to yesterday. That wick was a destruction junction for so many traders yesterday. I'm going to remove the alert. Let's see what we're looking at. This is all by the dip formations. All of it by the dip formations. It's going to go into heavy congestion. What I have not seen that I normally see in times past is a speedy recovery. I have stopped seeing that in the broad markets. We just don't see, yesterday we ended up seeing one, but it was a little bit rare and it didn't really move on a V bottom. What it did was sort of dribble around and then just got into some heavy traction about 2 o'clock and started moving. So I would say definitely, listen, when you buy this dip, watch it go into the low of yesterday, see if you can get into 165, and then the price action there, might give us a little bit of a stall out, to be honest. Let me change the properties of this line. Okay, and so that's what we're looking for in the first line of resistance. This 18,055 is going to be the front line support, and now we get to see if the bounce is going to send us into another fade or we're going to rally back in. Listen, remember what I have been saying for the last several weeks. This is what this is going to look like. No doubt about it. It might drop a little more, actually, but this is what we are waiting for, some kind of something to break in the markets. That's all we're doing. And so big money is just going to sit around and, let their algos skim until it happens. All right. So be careful here. This is the good bounce zone. Wait for it. If we can't get up over 18,160, there's trouble. If we do, the buyers are going to engage and they're going to send us right back up. Let's take a look at SPY. Look at that. Comes right into our line. Right into our line. Look, they're going to try and buy this dip. Where do they need to make sure they can breach? 515. If they cannot breach 515, price action is going to fade into the lower edge of the formation. But if they can, just like yesterday, the sellers are going to start running for cover, and that means they're going to buy us up straight back into 517, 518, and maybe even 520. All right, we've got range expansion, and take a look at this. This is last week. Is this last week Thursday? Okay, today is Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Friday. Thursday. Take a look at this. We're right back down where Thursday's is. We broke the low. So how we close here is going to be super important. Chances are, if we close below this level, we're going to fade further to the south. But everything's up. Everything's up in the air. Why? Because people have been buying, and once they hold these levels, they catapult themselves into the next zone. All right, let's take a look at the cues. Levels remain the same. Watch them. Be careful. And don't rush your trades. All right? Just don't rush them. Don't rush them. You'll be just fine. Just don't rush them. Okay, here we are with the cues. Same sort of thing. What's this number? 435. Oh, my goodness. Excellent. Uh-oh. Hang on 2 secs. I just lost my connection. All right. So here we are. They're buying the dip. That dip is 435. Listen, if it loses this, do not try to pick the bottom. Wait until it stabilizes. Just wait until it stabilizes. You don't have to bag the elephant today. This is what we are looking at. This is the state of the market. So do not fret about it. Trade the edges, and the way we know an edge is working is we collapse to the 15-minute and we say, all right, have I failed to head lower? Listen, this 15-minute candlestick still has 8 minutes to go, okay? And so you just have to wait on it and anticipate. Look, see this volatility bands? They're bouncing into a resistance zone. The first group of sellers are going to go, you know what? I'm going to short here again, and I'm going to see if I can drive it down. This still is the floor. This is the risk right here. So why give yourself a $1.30 on the risk? Just wait for it to rotate, make it support edges, and then you can continue on. As I see it, the dips, the deep dips are buy zones. Buy. This 435, I've talked about it ad infinitum. That's the region to go. But they are going to try and punch it up. Today, let's see if I can move this line. Nope, can't move that line. Let's move this one down to here. And then let us remove that line and add a new one right here. It's going to try and walk up those wicks. All right? So be careful. Be careful. Let's take a look at the YM. Doing the same thing, trying to bounce off of the floor. We didn't get this number quite right. Let's see. This. No, I'm still leaving it here. Very heavy congestion. It came down to this line and broke it. This low wick, right? It broke it and then recovered. So that is really going to be what's going on here. Notice there's a way more trend here, right? This is no longer neutral to bullish, right? My thought is that it's neutral to bearish. Now, why? Because we're making lower highs, lower lows, and we are below that 27 simple moving average, exponential. You know what? Let's go here. Let's change this to 30 and see where we are relative to the 30. All right? Relative to the 30, still underneath it. The 30 is flat. So it's do or die for the buyers right here, right? This, to me, says bounces or sell zones. So this is a clear shorting formation here at the 39.43. We've broken through it several times. So the bounces are going to be sells in here as it sits, but the charts are really trying to hold the floor. You can see the buyers coming in there, doing their part. It is, see what happened yesterday? If that happens today, it tells us there's a clear floor. So what do you want to do? You want to say, hey, as long as I hold 38,704, that's going to be my support zone. If I get up above 38,870, it's going to be more of a buy zone, and we're going to start pushing up into these further levels. Let's see what oil did. You know, my thought is that oil is going to roll over, and it has been lower highs, but last few days, higher lows. So this 84.71 is the floor support. Momentum is down. The trade looks, it's above the moving averages, so you easily could go, hey, I'm going to try a long right here. But 86 is looking a lot like resistance to me, right? Maybe 86.20. 12 to 86.30. So I would be careful here. These lower highs are definitely telling the tale. All right, lastly, let's take a look at gold. Okay, gold should be coming in. Notice it faded a fair bit. Let's see how it behaved during that number. Okay, spiked down and then up. Somebody on Top Step TV called that Morse code. That's true. I think one of the coaches did. But we are sitting below the close of the prior day, and that tells us, listen, sellers are trying to assert some value, but buyers are still engaged, right? Buyers are still engaged. What is the likely floor here? 2,300 makes for a good buy zone, 3 days in this area. So I'm going to put an alert here. I think that's going to be a really nice buy zone. But if this inflation number that we got that was hot continues to hold through that PCE number, we're going to fade even more. All right, so time to be careful, everyone. Interesting morning ahead. Be careful with size. Do not have to bag an elephant in times such as these. They are difficult. Let's see what happened to the RTY. Whoops, in this motion here. Ooh, yes, but still trying to hold 2,000 and bouncing. So we are expecting the traders to do their thing, which is buy the dip. All right, take care, everyone, and I'll see you on the platforms.